forest cover in Nigeria is less than 10% of what it used to be.
It's real, it's not theory. Everyone will be impacted. I repeat, everyone will be impacted.
Communities that have been lost completely in the northernmost part of Nigeria.
Last year, we got our people 2 hands for this community.
Across the globe, our action continues to destabilize nature, fueling drastic climate change, raising temperature, and disrupting weather patterns. The result, devastation. Not just to our environment and property, but also to our health, especially maternal health. In the north-central Nigeria, once a life sustenance forestries. For centuries, they have served as silent allies to garden maternal health, providing medicinal plants, shelter, and ecological stability. But today, they are shrinking under the weight of deforestation, moving closer to extinction. What was once a cradle of healing, now a vanishing refuge, threatening generations of maternal care being carried out by traditional birth attendants in Nigeria. To unravel the menace affecting traditional birth attendants, I traveled through north-central Nigeria. For decades, the people of Araromi in Yagbahi's local government of Kogi State have found solace in traditional birth attendant using natural herbs for maternal care services in underrepresented community in the state. Services that take days to access in government-owned hospital. Years ago, everything changed beyond the imagination of the people of this community. Not only did they need to fight for maternal health, but also to fight for their own lives.
Oakland as a whole is a very peaceful place. You can go to the farm around 12 in the midnight, around 1 in the midnight, depending on the situation of things then, before 4 years ago. But now, even when it is 6 o'clock, you'll be scared of going to the farm.
In a desperate bid to protect their sacred medicinal tree and healing herbs, community embrace agroecology, a sustainable farming method that blends traditional knowledge with ecological principle to restore balance between humans and nature. But what promised renewal soon revealed deeper wounds as illegal logging stripped the forest bare and other threats looms. Roaming herdsmen whose cattle trampled and devoured the very crops and herbs meant to heal.
Here we are. This is the Ilero farm. We are calling this place Ilero farm. So owned by Ilero clan in Ifolukotu. So last year I opened this place for maize, which I can even still show the evidence. This place is about 3 to 4 hectares. Last year, I make a farm here for maize and cassava. This is a cassava. So I planted everything, but suddenly around August, one day, one night, the cattle enter here and consume everything. So I planted it all. This is a maize stick. Can you see? It was consumed by cow. So and that very day I met them about 4 or 5 S-men, that is Bororo people, standing inside the farm together with their stick, doing like this, and be looking their cow, consuming the maize and the cassava at the same time. When I shouted, because it was only me, around 6 p.m. in the evening, my plan is that to just came here and check
whatever you are planting.
Yes, so that to look as how the crop is doing. When on getting here, I made them inside this farm. I shouted, only me, and I cannot do anything. And from here to Ifeolukotun town, it's about just 10 kilometers. It's not even far at all. So I shouted. As how I shouted, all of them, they are looking at me because it was only me and they are up to 4. I cannot do anything. And there is no MTN service or Glo network here for me to even call for people to come and rescue me. I just drag myself to when I park my bike. That is how I went home. Before I came here the next day, the farm has already been destroyed by them. The whole money, both the chemical and whatever I use, and the money that I pay for the laborers, everything is in vain.
Now, the community finds itself fighting a dual battle against deforestation and the slow destruction of their ancestral pharmacy.
And the challenges is not even only aspect of a farming area. Like this wood now, this is the wood that we are calling mahogany. As how they are damaging our farm crop, that is how they are damaging our wood. All this one now, they are the one that's cutting it. Every year, they will cut it. And it cannot grow after they use their cutlass to cut it into 2. Some they will cut it in the middle, some they will clamp it. Anyone that is growing enough, they will clamp it. And when they clamp it, when they cut the hand of the wood will damage.
So many things like that happen, like them climbing some of our economic trees, destroying it, saying they are giving it to their cattle to eat. So, and some woods that are supposed to grow, they destroy it before because of their personal interests.
Like wildfire, the crisis spread a relentless dual assault of deforestation and the destruction of vital herbs. From the forest bed of Kogi to the fragile farmlands of the FCT, Nasarawa, Niger, and Kwara State, the devastation caught deep. But it's not just the land that suffers. This creeping crisis is crippling essential, yet often invisible lifelines in underserved community, traditional birth attendant, the unsung frontline health providers who bridge the gap where former system failed. Now, their ability to save life is being choked at the root.
There are some certain routes we used to get, but due to the deforestation, it's seriously crippling our businesses. Herbs that we used to buy for 6,000 naira before now cost 15,000 naira. Herbs that we used to get so cheap before now is so expensive that is making it difficult for us to deliver our health services. We are seriously tired of the activities being carried out by these loggers. It's making it so difficult for us. People are now complaining of how expensive it is to access herbal medicine. Years back, when we engage people to get us herbal leaves, it costs between 1,000 to 3,000 naira, but now it costs triple to get those leaves, making it expensive for us to deliver our services. The impact of illicit logging are being taken on us and now becoming more expensive to access. When the people who fetch medicinal herbs for us come around and we negotiate, they will tell us it's now becoming more difficult to access some of these herbs in the forest
due to illicit logging and bush burning. There's nothing we can do because if you are someone, if you're not buying, they will take it to somewhere else, which someone is ready to pay in dollars. In the underserved community of Nasarawa State, traditional birth attendants stand as pillars of hope for maternal care, yet their vital work is under siege. Relentless logging, rampant bush burning, and devastating floods are erasing the medicinal herb that have sustained generations.
Major contributory factor is the man-made factor. Number one, bush burning. Bush burning burns some of those trees down. Like the one I use, back then in the early 90s, they were just, let me say, like 500 meters away from where we reside. We just walk around, fetch them. But now, before I could get those in, I have to walk for like over 2-3 kilometers before I could get those herbs. Why? Because of the climate change and sometimes flooding. Like in my own area of Toto in Nasarawa State, sometimes we do have mass flooding that fell down trees. So in the course of that, we are losing some precious trees.
In Niger State, bush burning and seasonal flooding are no longer environmental isolated issues. They are isolating threat, compounded by insecurity in the state and driven by the changing climate. Together, these forces are placing unbearable pressure on traditional birth attendants whose vital role in maternal care are now being compromised as access to rural clinic declines and safe delivery become a tall dream to achieve. Lives are being lost silently, a crisis at the intersection of climate, security, and survival.
Àwọn igi tó dẹ̀ pé yes igi tó ń fi ń ṣe àgbo gidi fún àwọn èèyàn tó fi lè pé kíní kò easy àti rí sí but tá bá máa rí ó máa take time tá bá máa rí tá bá dẹ̀ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ kan tí tó bá okay nísìn for example kéèyàn gbọ́mọ wá ó ní gírí tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ láyé àti tó ní ewé kan tá máa ń wá tá bá ti ewé yẹn tá bá ti gbó tọ́mọ bá ti mú ara àpàdé but nísìn kò sí ó hard láti rí torí kíni gbogbo nǹkan tó wà ní ìlú ìsìn láti wọ inú igbó láti mú pé kíni torí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nínú àwọn tó ń wọ inú igbó yẹn àwọn ẹlòmíì tó bá wọ inú igbó bẹ́ẹ̀ wọn ò ní wálé mọ́ wọ́n ní àwọn agbénipa ti rí wọn. Ìkejì nínú àwọn igi tá à ń rí nínú igbó yẹn àfi kí àwọn tó bá ń wojú Olúwa ó ní ewé kan wọ́n ń pe ewé yẹn ní ewé akéèrè. Ewé akéèrè yẹn sì ká tó rí sì máa ń pẹ́. Tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ tẹ bá lọ sí àgbègbè kágbègbè ní pékinní ẹ̀rí ewé yẹn jà. Wọ́n bá ti gbo ewé yẹn fún àwọn aláboyún àwọn tó ń wojú Olúwa yẹn á fọ gbogbo ìdọ̀tí.
Challenging the myth around their perceived ineffectiveness, a birth attendant, an health expert, and expectant mother share the perspective, revealing the powerful role of medicinal herb and their proven efficacy in maternal care.
Medicinal centers coming online, so people are now seeking for alternatives because they want to live healthy. So they are not seeking for the natural source to their ailment, to their problem, natural solution to their problem.
For me, I like giving an example and I like giving instance. Okay, you go to an health facilities and you can't find a doctor there. Or when you find a doctor, the price is outrageous. What will you go for next? You go for an alternative drug. In Nigeria, fund, cash, money is not being available to an average man. So what will you do next when you are in need or in dying need of a particular drug?
Truly, the hospital is good. May God make it easy for all of us. But in the hospitals, if there are any complications, the next thing will be surgery. But in traditional birth homes, they will give you some soaps, some concoctions, and the women will deliver. That is why I prefer traditional birth homes.
Despite their crucial role in safeguarding maternal health in rural communities, traditional birth attendants are fighting an uphill battle. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, 18 plant species in Nigeria are now critically endangered. Another 146 are officially threatened. The culprit: climate change, deforestation, unchecked urbanization. Each day, these forces push deeper into the forest, erasing remedies before they can be handed to the next healer. Now, these attendants are left searching for alternative herbs they barely know, and the truth they bear silently. They are using herbs they're least familiar with.
Tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀, a máa ń rí àwọn igi, a máa ń rí ní easily. But nísìnyí, ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó àti rí ó jìnnà. Ṣùgbọ́n pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run, wọ́n ní kò sí bó tí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe lè pé kíní. Ọ̀dùnbà tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nú àwọn ìgbẹ́ àwọn eléwé ọmọ báyìí, ó ní nǹkan tó bí wọn mọ́, ó ní nǹkan tí oníkálukú mọ̀. Bí irú èmi báyìí, àbímọ ni. Mo mọ̀ tó yàtọ̀. Tá a bá rí pé ààyè eléyìí mọ́, a máa tún mú ìmí, a máa ṣe. Àwọn bí ọ̀tún tó bá gbé ọmọ wá tó bá ní gírì bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, a ní àwọn nǹkan tá à ń lò fún. Nípa ní egbò náà ni tá a bá ti ní òkè tá a bá ti ṣe, bó dẹ̀ jẹ́ rírẹ ẹni bó jẹ́ sísè ni, wọ́n bá ti sè pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run. Bí gírì yẹn bá mú ọmọ báyìí, wọ́n bá ti lò ó fún pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run.
Egbògi tó wà tí mo mọ̀ kó súnmọ́ wa dáadáa tá máa ń rí cassia, a máa ń rí mango náà, àwọn ó ṣàpọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tá máa ń rí nítòsí, bọ̀ nísìnyí báyìí ó ti dìnira fún wa láti rí nítòsí because wọ́n ti gé gbogbo igi, wọ́n ti gé gbogbo ẹ̀ tán.
Across Nigeria, the green lungs of the nation are shrinking. Researches and expert analysis have revealed a troubling truth. A massive ecological vacuum created by the indiscriminate cutting down of forests.
This small region is one of the top 3 or 4 biodiversity hotspots on the continent. It has a third of all the primate species in Africa, about 40 species. It has animals that are found nowhere else in the world.
The trees held foundations of the soil. They absorb water. They are like canopies to this earth, and our country and our state is being protected by that.
Forest is the greatest reverser of deleterious climate change. It absorbs carbon dioxide and turns it back into oxygen, and that's what we need as a planet.
Once thriving ecosystem, rich in biodiversity and natural healing sources, are being stripped bare by unchecked deforestation. But this isn't just about losing trees. It's about losing protection against climate change. The disappearance of herbs that sustain traditional medicine. It's about the lives, human and animals, that hang in the balance as the chainsaw echo. Warning from scientists is clear. We are dismantling our own survival, one tree at a time.
It is estimated that one tree could sequester about 22 kilograms of carbon in a year. And without these trees, the carbon dioxide is left out in the environment. This causes the higher temperatures that we're experiencing.
When you're losing an environment, you have an environmental security. And our environment, our watersheds, our rivers and streams, our ocean, all these things support human life here. And so it becomes a national security issue that if we don't protect our environment, what's going to replace it?
When you lose forest, it doesn't come back. People talk about, oh, cut a tree, replant 2. It doesn't work. The soils here are only a few centimeters thick. When you cut down the trees and you get a rainy season or 2, the soil is gone.
With Nigeria's devastating track record in deforestation and illegal logging turning into a goldmine for the corrupt, where money speaks louder than environmental protection and sustainability is tossed out of the window. Law exists, yes, but enforcement is a distant dream. Yet, amid this environmental freefall, a lifeline emerged for rural community, especially for traditional birth attendants whose work depend on the forest. In March 2025, a new bill was passed by the National Assembly that cleared the path for the establishment of the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Services. Their mission to safeguard and reclaim the forest. Joshua Oshatimehin, Commandant General, shared his vision how this bold initiative will curb the extinction of Nigerian precious forest trees.
We have already a system bill that have already passed through the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Representatives. We are only appealing to Mr. President to take the bill to accommodate the proposed National Forest Guard. Let Nigeria Forest Security be the nucleus of the organization. How do I mean? Because we are already be trained, we know the terrain, we have the structure, we know the interconnectivity of operation and all the forest linkages in Nigeria.
It took months for the president to assent to the bill. However, when it was signed, it sent ripples of joy to the hearts of traditional birth attendants.
We will have an effective forest guards that will be, fully in control of our forests in the country.
With National Forest Hunter Security Services now in existence, experts, conservationists, and policy advocates are calling for a multi-tiered response.
We can't keep on postponing something that is killing our people, something that is wasting our resources, and something that is harming the planet and the people and everything in it. Nature has been very generous to Nigeria and to Nigerians, and we can't just destroy and consume everything that nature gave unto us. What we call natural resources are not just things we put on the market for economic purposes. They are things that build our very life.
The environmental challenges we have in this country are going to have long-term consequences. A lot of Nigerians are so busy trying to make money, they really, really don't care about environmental issues, and I think they should.
70% of Nigeria's population are below the age of 35. That tells you that in the near future, you're going to have a huge population. And the challenge with huge populations, growing populations, is how do you take care of everyone? We need to start seeing our environment as a resource that we need to conserve, we need to preserve, and we need to protect.